I think it's time to do a pod. Let's go. Hello and welcome to In the Pocket, the bass guitar podcast, where we get the lowdown on the low end. My name's Johnny, a totally average bass player, and each week I am joined by my favourite co-host to talk all about that bass. Yes, you know him, you love him. It is my friend, co-host, full-time session bass player. It's Mr. Chris Horrocks. Chris,
hello there.
How are you?
That was a very
Excellent.
stoic introduction. Then, thank you very much. I enjoyed that a lot.
Quite all right. Maybe I should come up with some different adjectives each. No, that's too much work. But
yeah, that's fair.
I should come up with different adjectives for you to just really pump you up before the show, just to get your head going. You know, get you in the game.
I'm not dignifying this early in the game. I'm not dignifying that with a response. I'm going to keep. We're 1 minute into the recording. This is going to be safe for work until further notice. You massive cock.
Hey, stop. You're making me blush. Have you had a lovely week?
Yeah, I've not done much this week. I've just been practicing for... I'm pretty stacked for the next 3 weeks. So this is a Wednesday, I think, because I don't know what day it is. So starting tomorrow, it's like 4 gigs, go home, do nothing for 3 days, do 4 gigs, go home, do nothing for 3 days, and then repeat that one more time, and then it's Christmas. So basically, this is like my last day of being able to like play The Witcher, which is what I'm doing at the moment. And then I'm mad busy until then. So yeah, it's been good. How about you?
Well, that sounds wonderful. Lots of lots of games. Before we go on to me, have you played? You're playing The Witcher. You haven't touched God of War yet, then?
No, I've not. So I'm gonna do The Witcher, which will take me 1,000 years. I've got God of War ready to go, the first one, and so I'm going to enjoy that. And then once I've enjoyed that, I will purchase God of War Ragnarok, and I'll enjoy that. And the reason why I'm waiting is because I'm going to get it second hand from CEX, where I have £60 of store credit.
Ooh, what did you trade in, big boy? Very nice.
It's not a fun story. I bought an iPad for session gigs, a really old generation iPad to sit on my mic stand, to have all my sheet music charts, blah, blah, blah.
Pretend you know how to read
Bought the wrong one.
Oh, no.
Yeah, bought too old. Adobe Acrobat isn't recognised on that tablet. Took it back. This must have been 16 hours later. So the next day at first thing in the morning. And they said to me, yeah, you can have store credit, that's fine. I was like, oh, come on. Oh, so CEX, I won't say which store, but you know who you are. I'm very disappointed.
I refuse to ever call them by their real name. Sex.
What do you actually call them?
Well, it's called.
Is it supposed to be
it's actually called, in the adverts and in like podcasts I listen to, it's called sex. And I'm like, no. I feel wrong about this.
I expect to make a really harsh joke then. So,
please continue.
Sex, because no one who works here is having any.
Oh! In the Pocket, sponsored by... No, we're not. Because
sponsored by Cash Converters.
Find God of War in there, you'd be lucky. Hey, I kind of prefer Cash Converters because I go in there going, oh, what cheap ass basses are going to be in here today? And I actually really enjoy looking around for like cheap guitars.
I nearly bought an Epiphone Explorer from Cash Converters when I was a teenager. It was the Epiphone Prophecy Explorer, which has
guitar, not bass.
What's that? Yeah, guitar. So I won't dwell on this for too much longer. Like all black hardware, like kind of, I think it was passive EMG HZ pickups, which are like the entry level EMG pickups, which are passive. Pretend ebony fretboard. I was like, that is instant 90s James Hetfield. I would like that, please. And just didn't buy it in the end because I had no money.
Man, that's always the thing. Think of all the guitar. We'll have to cover that as a topic one time. What are the ones that got away that you nearly bought but didn't? So not ones that you sold, but ones that you just missed out on buying, or you wish you did.
I have loads. Yeah, absolutely.
I reckon if I cast my mind back, there will be a lot. We'll save that one. We'll put that one in the pocket, shall we? And with that, let's move on to our first question. To submit questions on this podcast, all you have to do is simply go over to Instagram at Johnny Dibble. That's me, and submit on my story on there. I'll put up a poll, and you can type your cute little questions in there for me to read, and then we bring them along to this podcast. Chris, you sometimes put up a post as well, so head over to at that guy on bass as well. Obviously, give him a follow, and submit your questions here, there, everywhere. Chris, have you got our first question?
I do indeed. So, question 1 of the day. This is a good one. This is, what are your biggest tips to up my skill on bass? Would you like to go first? Because I have my answer, and I think it's dead easy. But I want you to go first.
Okay, yeah, play more. I will go first because
buy more basses.
That's how I did it. That's how I'm still a, quote the intro, totally average. So for me, I've actually got quite a specific tip to give, because I feel like we could be here all day saying like, yeah, you just got to like learn songs and play this and do this. So I kind of was going to avoid that, and I'm going to give a specific tip that I actually did and really enjoyed, and it made me spend hours playing bass. So you know those on YouTube, the like hours long stream or constant streams of lo-fi hip hop?
Yes, yeah. I listen to those in the morning, loads. Yeah, I've got it.
I'll play bass to those, and that is a. If you're feeling down, or like I'm not really feeling like practicing, or you don't want it to feel like practicing or learning something, picking up a bass and getting in that really chilled out headspace and just listening to that and playing or jamming along with your headphones, hours of fun, because each of like the tracks within there are about 2 minutes long, and that's just enough to give you a bit of like improvisation play before then, without warning, the song kind of changes up and goes into something else completely different. And it really forces your hand, literally, to like then think about playing differently as you've got to adapt to the song as it goes. And I've got to get back into it, to be fair, because I found that then I started using some of those lines that I'd done in that, or applying some of those lines, really, because it's not really music that I would normally listen to on a day-to-day, you know, if I was going to go and learn something. So I found it just brought something different to my palette, you know, but in a fun and chilled out way that really inspired me to practice and play more. So yeah, bit of a weird answer for me there, but that was my tip that came to my head. To my head, yes.
I like that a lot, actually. I think the reason why that would be especially good is it's you playing over something that you're not necessarily going to do day to day, and a lot of those lo-fi tracks in particular have really weird kick drum patterns because they're drum machines. Yeah. And they're not traditional things like a drummer would do. I might give that a go, actually. I think that's quite good. That would also be really good if if you play any sort of more like melodic instrument, like just soloing over the chord changes, working them out by ear.
And that is
because they're going to keep the.
That is what I mean, really. It's not really. I guess it's kind of not really a good tip for practicing or getting better at being a bass player, because it is a lot of soloing and just jamming over the top and like playing melodic things kind of high up at the fretboard. But it's a bit of a gateway drug into practicing again or getting inspired, I found. So rather than yeah, this is probably not a good tip in terms of like, take that to band practice next time. All of this like melodic stuff that you've done. But for me, it's all about where that inspiration comes from and actually, wanting to just play every day.
Also, it's going to, if you go to band practice and tell everyone we're going to sort of jam over lo-fi beats for the next 30 minutes, it's going to massively diffuse any band arguments.
That's true. That is very true. The drummer's not going to know where to put his kicks. He's like, this is anything a human would do. I don't understand.
This is
The
ridiculous.
singer's just gone out of the room. That's half the problem's done.
Gone. Yeah, they're studying because that's what you're supposed to do.
Well, what would be
fair enough?
What would be your playing tip, Chris?
Really easy. Record yourself as much as you possibly can.
Good one.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be. You don't need to have a fancy recording setup or anything like that. Just whatever you're learning, stick your phone in front of you and film yourself playing it and listen back, because I guarantee you will pick up on mistakes that have only become noticeable once you've filmed it, that you didn't notice when you were just sat sort of on your own playing with yourself. So there's that.
No problems
and then
with that.
Also, if you actually film yourself properly, so don't do the My First Guitar Cover thing where it's just the bass and you can maybe see your chin. Take the camera, pan the shot back, and get all of you in it, and just get used to seeing yourself playing. And then in the future, if you're very used to that, if it comes to like you're in a band and you're shooting a music video, you're going to feel so much more comfortable with a camera in front of you. If you decide you want to post something on social media, again, it's going to feel much more natural to you. And also, another thing you'll probably do, which is certainly something I did when I started posting sort of like guitar covers on Facebook when I was a teenager, as soon as you start filming yourself, your playing goes out the window. And you sound awful, and you make loads of mistakes. But once you get up, because you know there's a camera, it's like there's someone looking at you. But if you can work that muscle and get over that hurdle and get confident on camera, have it feel very natural to you, your playing's going to get better. You're going to identify mistakes easier because you're going to notice them as a spectator instead of a player. It's going to do wonders for your confidence in pretty much all aspects of being a musician. And finally, regarding the recording side, if you have the ability to actually record yourself into something like GarageBand or something, play to a metronome.
Oh.
It's not the end of the world, but playing to a click is a really great skill to have as a musician, because a click and a drummer are two very simple things. It's very similar things as well in terms of a rhythmic thing. That's not a very intelligent way of saying it, but it's a rhythm for you to play to. And it's going to work on you, on your overall tightness, because the metronome cannot lie. It does not lie, and it cannot lie. So if it's out of time, it's not the metronome, it's you. And then you now have something to work on. But don't Google how to quantize yourself, because that's cheating. You want to actually learn how to do it yourself to a click. It's going to save you so much hassle when you get to more experienced things where you record for someone, you're on stage and the band play to a metronome, which is what I do a lot now. And you're just getting that hurdle out of the way. And it's a good skill, and it'll increase your abilities of timekeeping.
Definitely, and they're things that matter so much. And then you'll start recognizing more when other people are going out as well. Like I've had drummers I've worked with before that can't keep time, and because then I feel like I have a better ability of time here. I know that's I'm not a drummer, and I'm not pretending to know how to play drums, but that you can you start feeling it, and you're like, well, this is completely different tempo now, and maybe they're aware of it, but that's the fundamentals of it. And if you can learn, everybody in the band is working down to the drummer who's leading it all, and then who's leading the drummer often? Oh, a click, or like time itself, rhythm.
Yeah.
So that's the fundamentals of all of it at the end of the day. Yeah, I love all that, and I totally agree, especially with the camera aspect as well. That's a really good point, because I do it even now. Like, I'll be like, okay, I think I've got some riffs in the bag. What I'm going to play when I demo this product. Okay, record. And then it's just like, I cannot play at all. And I'm like, oh, what am I doing? And so if you can if you can overcome that, then you're going to be better when the camera's not there as well. You know, the ability goes up like that. But it reminds me of my friend who he was an insane guitarist, so good, and he used to do all of his practicing on an acoustic, so that he built up the tolerance of playing and used to playing the speed on an acoustic, so that when he transferred to the electric, it became so much easier. And I was like, wow, what an interesting way to put a barrier in front of yourself, to force yourself to get over it. So, yeah.
That is really good. That's a really good idea, and I think I might try and learn some sort of technical guitar riff on my bass first. Ooh. And then, in fact, no, that'll be way too hard, because then I'll get to play guitar and be like, it's all too small. I can't, like...
You're moving half across the fretboard to get to one string.
Exactly. And that does happen to me. Like, if I have a couple of weeks of gigs where I'm only playing bass, and then I need to play guitar for something, I can't play it. It's like I'm playing Guitar Hero. Like, I just can't do it.
Like, what is this tiny guitar for little people?
What is this toy?
Let's move on to the news. It's time for the news. Here is the news. We've got a couple of small bits of news, but big news, really, I think. A couple of releases that have come out, and some really interesting things, and things that are good, things that are not so good out of all these news items, I think. So let's kick things off with our best buds. It's Dark Glass Electronics, a bass player's best friend. That's not their slogan, and you know that's.
But it should be.
But it should be. There you go. Pay me later. It's fine. They have relaunched, or revitalized, re-released. How much else can I say? Resurrected. There we go. The Duality Fuzz pedal. So we have now got the Dual Fuzz Engine 2, or on, as it says on the front, DFZ. So Duality Fuzz. For those that don't know, the Diffuz 2. The Duality came out, it's got to be like 7 years ago, I think.
It's one of the first things they did.
It is, yeah. They had the B3K out already, obviously.
And the Hyperluminal.
Yeah. What? Was that?
Yeah, the compressor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the compressor was one of the first things as well, I think.
Oh, of course. I'm thinking
No. Because they've done two. They've done the Hyperluminal and the Supersymmetry.
Supersymmetry was the first one, I think.
Was it Supersymmetry first?
Yeah, Hyperluminal.
Yeah, whichever
was the
one doesn't have. Yeah, the one that has the touchscreen came later.
Yes, that's why I was like, really? So the Duality was like their flagship fuzz, and you know it went down very well, and then it just disappeared, gone. They've done like fuzzy distortion since, but not really a dedicated fuzz. So this is a welcome addition back to the fold of fuzz. Lots of Fs going on here. And speaking of lots of Fs, flipping heck, what have they done? So I have got this pedal. Dark Glass sent it to me. If you go and check out my channel now, at time of recording, there's the demo has just come out, and it's a great sounding fuzz. There's loads of different sounds in here, but there is a big but. It's in the same format.
And he cannot lie.
This big butt will not be lying today, okay? Because there's trim pots, okay? Trim pots in the back. No thanks. Not a fan. It's the same format as the B1K. If you know your Dark Glass, they've just released that, which is like the B3K in like a smaller housing. For the sake of a smaller housing and a cuter little design, they've put the filter control and the clean blend control on the back of the flipping pedal, and it's just what a blasphemy thing to do. Like, not a fan. Chris, what's your opinion on trim pots?
Well, how much trouble am I going to get into apart from saying I'm going to say useless for me.
Oh, very
That's
good.
How I'm going to put it.
Very good. So not for everybody.
Yeah, useless for me.
Yeah, and
I think if you're at home or you're in a recording studio and it doesn't, it's not stuck down anywhere, you can just turn it over and tweak it or whatever. That's fine. I'm sure that will be more than fine for you. I cannot stress how much I hate the trim pots. Like, it's just so incredibly useless for me. As someone, if I'm going to use a pedal, it's going to be Velcroed down with very strong Velcro to a pedal board. And there's going to be Velcro over that trim pot section as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's just... I see what they're doing. It is a cool idea. They're trying to get a smaller form factor. They're trying to have this kind of, like, minimalist aesthetic on the front of the pedal. That's cool. Nah, don't like it. Sorry, not for me.
Not worth it. That's the thing. It's just not worth those benefits of the impacting the actual usability of the device. Like, that should come first. And for me, it's a BABM. Buy a Big Muff. Yeah, so straight to say it. Yeah, why would you want that over something else? I don't know. And it's £147, I think, at the minute, which I don't think is priced too badly considering. But yeah, you're buying it knowing that those features are being locked away in the back, and they're not set and forget features. That's the biggest thing about it. The clean blend and a filter, how much high end, that can change depending on the amp, depending on the bass, depending on the room I'm playing in. I want full tweakability. If I'm going to have a physical knob to play with, pause for laughter.
Exactly. Let's just let that pause there. Just let it simmer.
Yeah.
And continue.
Then I want it to be accessible and there to use.
I can't forgive them, which is annoying because I use dark glass products all the time. I use dark glass tones and everything. I really love the company. I love the products. I think it's fantastic. But it just frustrates me with the tone pot idea, especially because I've owned pedals that are a small format that do not give me this compromise. Like the Tube Screamer Mini. The Tube Screamer Mini has 3 different controls on the front. There's one big one, which is the drive, and then there's a level, and there's a tone. And they're very tiny little trim pots, like you get on those small Mua pedals.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, for God's sake, Mua have like an 8-band EQ pedal.
I mean, only ants can move the sliders, and it still works.
Exactly. But still... Oh, yeah. It frustrates me because I just know it's a huge inconvenience to me. It's just not beneficial to me. And Dark Glass, if anyone who works at Dark Glass or is in contact with Dark Glass, Doug, if you're listening, I love your company. You make the best bass products in the world.
Thank you.
By far. I love your amps. I love all your pedals. I hate these 2 small pedals that you've done so far. Please stop. And if you're thinking of doing a crossover based distortion, if you put the high and low pass filters on the bottom, I will put all my stuff in the bin and buy a Sans amp. I won't actually do that because I don't like Sans amps, but I want you to know the fret is there.
Yeah, like what else? What else can we put in the back? Should we put the switch in the back? Good, yeah, put it in the back. You want to turn it on?
I think we should do a tuner next.
Screen on the back.
Screen on the back.
Oh, for goodness
For those of you listening at home, you've just witnessed the birth of a new catchphrase. Yeah, it's on the back.
It's on the... Just put it on the back. It's on the back, man. It's on the
Just
back,
on the
man.
back.
Welcome back.
It's fine.
It's on the back.
Welcome to In the Back.
Ooh, that sounds painful.
Get out. As someone who's hurt their back this week, get off your ivory tower. I'm in legitimate pain as we type this.
No.
Type this.
You okay?
Sorry, it's been a long day. I've played the same Lionel Richie song 6 times today.
There's only so much time you can listen to Geralt of Rivia go fuck as well. Well, we've been playing 2018 God of War in preparation for playing Ragnarok. So for us, it's a lot of boy. It's a boy.
I've watched. Have you watched the video of that guy doing dad jokes?
No, I haven't.
Oh, later on, like you've got to put it on. It's on YouTube. He did 2 of them. He did one when the last game came out, and one for this one. It's like a BuzzFeed style video where they just feed him dad jokes, and he says them in the Kratos voice.
Amazing. The worst or best joke I heard the other day was why does the baker have brown hands?
Go on.
Because he needed a poo.
Oh, nice.
Pretty good, huh?
Nice.
Pretty good. Anyway, let's crack on with the news.
No. You've started this.
God damn it, boy jokes.
I'm giving you a dad joke. I just got hospitalized due to a peekaboo accident. They've put me in the ICU. That's funny, and you know it.
Pretty good, Chris. That's why you're here. To bring the badum-tish.
Okay. One more, just to redeem myself, please. If you'd be so bold.
Okay.
My son Luke loves that we named our children after Star Wars characters. My daughter Chewbacca, not so much.
Ha ha! Yes. Dad. Nice. I'm looking up to see if there's any bass player dad jokes. Okay. Oh my god, that is this is so bad. Okay.
I'm ready. My body is ready.
Oh god, so bad. Jesus Christ. What is the favorite food of a bass guitar player?
Go on.
E-string cheese. E-string cheese.
That's somewhat accurate. Do you like a cheese string?
Yeah, actually, thinking about it, this is just facts.
I prefer a Lunchable.
I mean, this could be a whole section, couldn't it? Bringing across our... Oh, my God, some of these are so... Why can't DJs play the bass? They always drop it.
Oh. Right, we need a bass dad joke of the week now.
Okay, well, maybe we put it at the start of each episode.
Deal.
Nice. You're welcome, everyone. That was 10 minutes of going off the rails to bring that to your plates. You're welcome. Let's move on to our next bit of news. It is the boys and girls and lovely people over at Harley Benton have done what we all thought they should do and wanted them to do, but kind of not really. Let's talk about it. They previously released the Goto new jazz bass with all the better specs, better hardware, still weighed an absolute ton, but it was this is the cream of the crop, affordable jazz bass. We've improved all the bits you didn't like about it. And now they've done that. They've rolled out that same kind of series, if you like, to a P bass, or is a PJ bass, and a short scale Mustang style bass. I reviewed the Harley Benton and the jazz bass, and all of the comments I asked, what do you want to see next from Harley Benton? And nearly all of the comments were Mustang. Let's see a Mustang. I want to see another short scale. And yeah, like a couple of weeks later, bam, here it is. The PJ as well. A lot of people were like, I love this, but I don't want another jazz bass. I'd like to see this on a P bass. So then, bam, here it is. They released both, I think, on the same day or like a day apart. They come in the same finishes as the new one as well. So it's like a burgundy mist. They've got a black one, Daphne blue, surf green, shell pink. I think that's it for those. But yeah, really cool. All matching headstocks. I'm glad that they've done it. They're great products. I wonder how much that Mustang's going to weigh. Given the obscene weight of the jazz bass, and I expect the P bass as well. Yeah, I'd be interested to know. What was your first thoughts when you saw these?
Love it. I think I'm just looking at the PJs as well, and I think this is £200.
Yeah,
That's really cheap for an
crazy.
instrument.
Crazy.
Like, it's a Laurel fingerboard. It's an older body, so yeah. Look, come on. This isn't Panga Panga and Babinga and roasted maple dipped in chocolate and all that sort of stuff. So we're not breaking the bank on stuff, but you've got Goto machine heads. There's nothing wrong. That's a solid choice. You're going to struggle to find anything at that price range with better statistics,
Absolutely,
graphite notes, and this kind of stuff. And
I'll
it
have
comes
you know,
with Diodario strings as well.
Well, that's half the price. That's a quarter of the money there.
Quarter of the bloody price. You get a 5-string. You're absolutely laughing. What you want to do is get a 5-string, which they don't do, but you should do. Take the strings off, sell the strings. You just got 25% of your money back.
Yeah, flipping heck. That's good going.
They call me the bass version of Del Boy.
I'm trying to think of a pun related to Dell. No, it's
Adele?
Adele. That's the one. With this bass, and they're right. Like, you're not going to have any tuning issues with these because with affordable instruments, that's normally the first thing to have problems with. Cheap hardware. The Goto tuners are so lovely. And we've got brass tail pieces on the bridge as well. So, like you said, you're not going to find these specs anywhere else for this price range. Now, I do want to say something about the Mustang, because it's all good and well. Yes, they've finally done it, but it's like they've tripped at the last hurdle, because it's a PJ configuration, and we've got a volume and a tone knob. That's it. There's no.
Hang on a minute.
There's no pickup selector.
No,
I'm not joking.
I'm looking at it right now. Like,
volume. Well, hang on. It says volume and tone controls. Yeah, that's it.
Are you having a Scooby Doo?
No.
This is ridiculous. That's
right.
Harley Benton.
Right.
That is that's so dumb. I actually can't think of anything apart from like, well, I hope you like your mid scooped, because that's what you're getting.
Yeah. Yeah, like,
how could you be like? Oh my goodness!
Like, surely that is not a difficult thing to put in, or even just have 2 volume knobs.
I'm looking. I'm on the website right now. I'm looking at the picture, and my mind is refusing to believe what I'm seeing.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the volume knobs right now going, is that stacked? Surely it must be stacked. I must be getting this.
It must be stacked.
But
silly me.
Yeah.
No, I've zoomed in on it. I've looked at a different picture. No, yeah. Although I will say, just to quickly redeem it, the Sunburst one, matching headstock.
Oh, they've all got matching headstocks.
They're all matching. Well, I didn't notice because I was looking at the natural one, so I just thought it was the same colour. But yeah, matching headstock's cool. Oh my! I can't even. What?
Isn't it though? It's like they're like, yes, here you go, but it's useless.
It's like it's like there's that TikTok audio. I don't know who said it. I think it's Kevin Hart who says it. Where it's like, I get the ball, I pass, I run with it, shoot, miss, and that's the end of the audio. So it's like it's almost like it's a short scale. It's got this. It's available in Burgundy Mist, Tortoiseshell Pickguard, Goto hardware, and then there's no pickup selector.
Yeah, and it doesn't work.
Oh, it's a £5. It's a £5 modification, if that.
And these are again.
This is the worst day of my life.
You're like, oh, I might check one of these out. Oh, maybe not.
Oh no! I won't be doing that. Short scale. That's your thing, and it is not mine. But oh, I'm so mad.
£199. So it's the same price as the other ones. And, you know, people are gagging for these. So it's like, come on. Really? Really? Wow.
I need to just quickly check something on this. Give me 1 second, because this will ruin my day. Hang on. Let me just... I'll be 2 seconds. Okay. I'm on the PJ one. Okay. It looks like there's 2 volume controls and a tone.
Yes.
So that's okay.
Yeah, the PJ is fine.
Oh, my... Oh. Oh, my. Oh, and they do a 5-string. There's a 5-string here.
What? Is there?
No, wait, no. That's the non-Gato one. My bad, sorry. Yeah.
This guy's just dropping the bad news.
This is... So, to conclude, buy Sire, everyone.
Yeah. The next best thing.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. By quite a long way.
Yeah. Come on, guys. Come on.
Oh,
this has been a really downer news section, apart from the bit in the middle
this
that
has
we
been
didn't talk about news.
This has been we shouldn't do podcasts in the evening anymore. We're clearly in bad moods.
Yeah, because no, this has put us in a bad mood because this just sucks. It's just bad.
Yeah, this isn't great.
Well, let's lighten our spirits, shall we, and move on to the next question.
Question 2. Another good one, actually. Lots of great questions this week. This one says, is it normal to go through seasons of wanting to play other instruments, brackets, guitar, piano, etc., close brackets, versus bass?
Ooh. To do...
Firstly, sacrilege.
Yeah,
bass is the only instrument you need.
Do we ever... blasphemy, think of touching other bits of wood and string with our hands. Yeah. Hate to say it. Yeah, I kind of do sometimes, and then fail miserably, and then just return to playing the bass. Not that playing the bass is a lower instrument. That's not what I'm saying at all. They give the examples of guitar and piano. I know you're a guitarist, and I've got a guitar that I play. I wouldn't consider myself a guitar player. I guess I am, but I'm just not good enough to play guitar in a band. I just use it for recording and stuff. For me, the instrument I've always wanted to play, or like always feel the need, like, I'd love to play this song on this, is the drums. I have.
Oh, same.
I'm terrible at the drums. I've never played had a proper session on the drums. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't. I struggled to do the very basic thing on the drums, but I love them. And I whether that's just a rhythm thing, where my love for bass comes from originally, I just sometimes I really want to smash things, you know. And I'm always drumming to myself. There's so many innuendos in here, and somewhat you have to forgive us or me. So for me, it's the drums. And what I want to do is maybe one day also play some kind of classical instrument as well. Like, I've always had a soft spot for like cellos. Like, I'd kind of really like to have one day to play with, or to try and have some lessons with, or something like that. I should really say double bass, but I don't know. I just like the cello. It's bloody nice sounding, isn't it? So answer is yes, it is normal, because you're a musician. You're not just listening to bass all the time, although I wish we could. There are other instruments in there that sometimes you hear and want to take a crack at, you know. And piano is quite closely linked to bass as well in the notes that they're sometimes hitting, and because obviously they've got so many octaves that they play with. Sometimes they do end up in our realm, and also the kind of role that they play sometimes is similar. So it's absolutely natural to think, I'd like to play a little bit of this and a little bit of that. What do you think?
Well, firstly, the question said is it normal? And the answer is, yeah, of course it is. Like you just said, Johnny, you're a musician, or you're a lover of music in some way, shape, or form. So, yeah, it's perfectly fine to want to play other things. Like, you're not gonna. No one's going to kick you out of the bass player club because you picked up a guitar or sat on a drum kit. I mean, there'll be some people who would suggest that, but, Yeah, like, I was a guitarist before I was a bass player for like quite a long time before I went anywhere near a bass. I wish I was a drummer. I love programming drums.
Me too.
And then what else? Yeah, it's quite therapeutic in a weird way, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got
you use a keyboard. I
Yeah.
don't even do that.
Do you know? Yeah, I physically play it in. Like if I've written something, or I'm like, all right, I want it to do this. I'll play the kick and the snare how I want it, and then I'll go in and quantize it and add the cymbals in. But I'll play it all in, mostly, and then apart from like little individual tom hits and things like that and accents, I will do that afterwards, of course. But yeah, I really like that part of it, of songwriting.
Yeah, and exploring other instruments can only lead to advantages when you come back to bass, for example. Like, I'll go away and if I have to play guitar on a few things for a bit, when I come back to the bass, I find my picking has got a lot better.
Yeah.
Because I've been playing, a smaller instrument that requires a bit more fine motor skills. Or when I've been thinking about drums, or I've been programming like a keyboard part, I might come up with some like chord ideas or something on a bass synth that I'll go, oh, you know what, I'm gonna try and learn that on bass guitar and see if it takes me somewhere else. So yeah, perfectly normal. Absolutely go for it. But don't play it for too long, because obviously then we'll have to kick you out of the bass club.
Yeah.
So as long as you don't tell anyone,
Don't worry about it. Keep it to yourself. As long as it doesn't become your number one, then you're okay.
Yeah, don't you go bringing that round here, sunshine.
It makes total sense. Like, and it kind of links back to the tips of how to get better at playing, or to that we were talking about earlier. This can be one of those as well. Go and play another instrument for a bit and see how that then impacts your bass playing, because it might bring an extra flavour or skill that you picked up from doing something else. Marvelous. Let's I think it's time to listen to some tones, don't you? And some tasty tones at that. So let's move on to our next segment. This next segment is my favourite segment. It's called That Tone You Own. This week, the lovely Chris has brought along a tone of his. Chris, do you want to set this one up? Because this is a hot off the press track that we're gonna hear now, or hear the bass of. And I thought of you instantly when I saw it had been released. Give it some context.
Very well. Well, this is at time of recording. I've just posted this on my Instagram. This is the audio from a little snippet of a cover I've done of the new Metallica single. Whoa. Which I keep constantly forgetting the name.
It begins with an
L. I think
L,
it's called
it?
Lux Eterna. If you know what that means, please let me know, because I haven't a clue. But yeah, as soon as I heard this, fell in love with this immediately. For those who don't know, Metallica is my favourite band by a very, very long way. I will talk about Metallica all day, every day. If you want to do a Metallica special, we can do that. Easy peasy. Because they've had 3 different bass players. So there's lots of stuff to talk about. And they're all very different.
I was going to say, yeah.
So there's that. So yeah, I did a cover of the new song. Despite being incredibly hard to play, it's really good fun. And it's really hard because it's basically 16th notes constantly at 132 beats per minute. So it's quite rapid. The fact that Robert Trujillo plays this with his fingers is insane, because I was playing it with a pick, and I have absolutely worn a pick away practicing this today.
Turned to dust.
Like, completely. My right forearm was killing me, and my right forearm is bulletproof.
It's had plenty of practice, that thing, let me tell you.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Well, but yes, let's have a listen to it.
My God. Now, bass, it's funny, like, bass and Metallica, sometimes you think, you can't hear it in some albums and things like that. That's the go-to thought for me. Holy crap, that is a thunderous tone, and I can just hear that punching through that mix, if the rest of the mix was there, So what went into this? Obviously, that is your Aerodyne jazz bass, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Very, very nice. Loaded with EMG pickups, isn't it? It's active, that one, isn't it?
Yes, it's active. There's no tone controls or anything like that on it. They're in the back.
Put just where they belong.
Absolutely. No. So it's the standard active EMG PJ configuration where there is a preamp and it lives in the control cavity with the tone pots and the battery, but there's no tweakability. That's just what it sounds like.
Okay.
So it doesn't, yeah, I mean, it doesn't do too much, to be honest. It's a boost in output. For those of you who've just heard it, it's very bright, because unfortunately you need to be very bright when you're playing with a pick sometimes to kind of get through the mix. And also the strings on the bass aren't super fresh. They've been around the block a little bit, so I did have to kind of tickle up the treble a tiny bit on the amp to compensate. But yeah, it's my Japanese Aerodyne with EMG pickups. The bass is actually strung BEAD at the moment, but that's irrelevant to the song. The song's in standard tuning. You can just play it in standard tuning. It's in A. I just really wanted to play this bass, so I've just played everything one string higher than what you would do normally. So when you watch the reel, you'll probably look at it and go, well, that's not an A. But it is. I am playing an A. It just looks like a D. I'm sorry. So yeah. And in terms of, do you want me to go through the signal chain now, or do you want to talk about a different bit first?
Go through that signal chain, baby.
Okay. Well, it's pretty easy. Bass. There's a cable, obviously.
Wow. I
ran this on wireless, actually.
I could really hear that cable tone.
Oh, is that 2 meters or 3? You'll never know. And then it actually goes into my quad cortex and then into my audio interface, and then that was it, really. But the quad cortex isn't actually doing a lot, really. I'm not doing a million things. So I've got some compression at the start. Then we are going into the B3K that lives inside the quad cortex as an adjustable pedal, almost like a pedal. The blend's quite low, the drive's not too high, and the level's boosted a little bit, and all it's really doing is giving a bit of grit to the signal. Then, because I would love to own one of these, and there's no way I can pick one up physically, because it's a really heavy amp, it goes into a Mesa Boogie 400 Plus, which is like my dream amp. Nice. And into an 810, and that's basically it. Oh wait, actually, at the end of all that, before it comes out of the quad cortex, there is a capture of a Noble DI.
Oh, so is it like a blended sound then of that
no,
between
it's
that
all
DI and the amp?
Nope, I'm kind of cheating, really. I'm going, if you imagine like the blocks that you would get on like a HX Stomp or a Kemper or an XFX or whatever, it's compressor, dark glass pedal, Mesa Boogie, cab, Noble DI, and then out of the Noble DI, so I just stuck it at the end to see what it would do, and
sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's actually one of Ivan's captures. Ivan Karanska, who previous alumni, fellow bass YouTuber. He owns a Noble DI, and he put on the Quad Cortex Cloud, I'm going to say 10 captures of the Noble DI in various pedal positions. So, bass at 9, treble at 10, 12, flat, all these kind of things. Yeah. And that one at the end is like a bass at 12, treble at 12. And I had to drop the output of the capture down to compensate it because it was a big lift in volume. But once I've gain matched it and it doesn't change the volume, it kind of sounds like it scoops it a tiny bit, but bumps the
nice.
low end and the treble, and it really actually, I would say, is a really big part of the sound. Actually.
Yeah, sometimes it's one of those things that if you could get used to it without it, but then once you add it in, you're like, oh yeah, that's obviously better. Like just adding a tiny bit of almost like a smiley face EQ on the end, just to bring out the bits that you really want to pop.
Yeah, it kind of. I noticed when I played it with the backing track, because also I use an app called Moises to remove the bass from songs, which is very useful.
Nice. Yeah.
Mostly, I think it's more drummers that use it really, because it can remove drums really well. But I found when I added in that DI capture and it added that bit of scoop, it was like all of a sudden I was sat on top of the kick drum, I was out of the way of the guitars, but then that pick attack was really, really punching through. And,
so you can cut through in the right place.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm very happy with the tone. I think I'm going to use that tone for my next couple of gigs, with the option to turn the drive on and off, basically.
Yeah, really nice. Oh, awesome. Well, yeah, that sounded so good, and I would, maybe say better than the original tone on the track.
Ooh,
I think it sounded
a lot louder.
Yeah, well, exactly. Let's do them some justice. If you just re-record them all through that and then send it on, I'm sure they'll add it into the mix.
Well, if anyone in Metallica is listening,
they are.
If Rob ever falls down the stairs, pushed, who knows? I don't need a rehearsal. I know all of your songs, and yeah, I'm ready to go whenever you want. Let's do it. And also, Nickelback, if you're listening, same applies.
Oh, great. Well, I've looked at... Hang on, let me just check the analytics.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah, they watched... They listened to the last one, and then, weirdly, they're listening live now. We've got them live on air. Is chat...
Oh, my God.
Sorry, everyone. No, that's not a thing. And it never will be, damn it. Maybe, well, who knows? Maybe if you share this podcast with your friends and give it 5 stars, maybe it will. One day. Chris, thank you so much for bringing along that wonderful tone. It sounded beautiful as the man who'th played it.
Oh, thank you very much. That's the nicest thing anyone has ever said to me, ever.
Ah, wow. You've had quite a sad little life, haven't you?
Yes.
Thank you for recognising it.
Thank you for making me a part of this.
And with that, let's move on to the last segment of the show. It's time for the big bass debate. Chris, what are we big bass debating today?
We're debating something, and I'm just going to stall for a moment while I load up my notes because I may have gone off them. And here we are.
Hey, that's fine. Stall as long as you want,
This
man.
is an interesting one. So, this week's big bass debate is the most disappointing bass you've ever played. So, like me, incredibly disappointing. To give a bit more information, so a bit more context, this is essentially like the highest expectation you've had before you've played a bass, and then basically you've picked it up, started playing, and gone, "Oh, I hate this. This is horrible. This is like, not worth the hype at all."
It's like the catfishing equivalent of a bass. You think
essentially, yeah.
Think it's going to be great, and then it's not great. Wow. This is a great question, I think. Because I feel like we've probably all had this kind of moment. I've got a couple in mind. I've got 3 that I've pulled together. Should we go one each? Go back and forth?
Well, I currently can only think of one for now.
Okay.
The simple... no, I can think of 2. So, yeah, we can do that if you want.
Okay. I'll start. We'll go to you.
Go on.
Then
You try... Also, it's probably worth noting, you try out a lot more basses than I do.
That's true.
I do not touch basses that do not already belong to me.
That is true. Unless you go to cool bass hangs. But that is, you're not going to be trying bad basses.
They were all very good.
Exactly.
They were all very good.
So the first one for me is the Squier Contemporary P bass, the one that turned up broken twice and then damaged the third time. That whole fiasco that led to the lovely Fender visit. I had high expectations for it because I thought, oh, what a cool, different product from them, different finishes, really cool. Let's get it. Couldn't be more disappointed. In all three of those that I had, it was a pain. The one I've got now that's hanging on my wall behind me is the damaged one, and I still enjoy playing it. It's still not a bad bass, but it's not great. And because of those quality control issues, it was just so bad in reality, just given my high expectations of it. So that would be my first one that came to mind immediately of like, oh yeah, that was big time disappointment when I got that twice. What's your first one?
Mine is now I can't remember the actual full title of the bass because as you're about to hear, it's an Ibanez.
Is it an Ibanez?
Yay! It's the Ibanez SRS something 05. Sack the person who names your basses. MS. It's the fan fret one that's about 800 quid.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, because people, and that's like what came out last year before.
Maybe. I think they had an older version as well. Basically, I mean, to be honest, it could have just been shipped with dead strings. There was that too, maybe. Basically, during the pandemic, I really wanted a fan fret 5-string. Because the band I was in at the time, there were a few things where I could really, really use a low B and a low A.
Yeah.
Like, could really benefit from that. And just thought this was the best option. Couldn't afford a Dingwall. This was £1,000 cheaper. I thought, I'll give this a go. So I call up PMT. They don't have one in stock, but they can get one in for me. I think I had to pay like a deposit to get it to come into the store.
Okay.
It showed up like this was like, I'm gonna say May 2020. So, but really bad. Where it was like one in, one out of the shop. Someone checked my temperature on the way in. Proper lockdown. So yeah. Got in, picked the bass up, hated it.
No.
Played really nice. Played just fine. Sounded like crap.
Do you know what? So I've played one of these as well, and I kind of thought the same in terms of sound. I was just like not bowled over by it at all. I was just like, preamp's pretty, and it just doesn't give you that like really. And my one, I expect, would have been a dead string issue from memory because it was one that I picked off the shelf in PMT, not one that was ordered in. But was yours a new? It was brand new then. No one else has played it.
Apparently.
Oh, it can't be an old string then, surely.
Yeah. And I will say
it's quite dull sounding.
Yeah, this isn't the headless one. This isn't the headless one that came out.
Oh.
This is the previous one, the SRM or something like that. They're a really cool looking bass. Yeah. No, I've played the EHB and that was alright. I just think the pickups are a bit lacking, personally.
That was what that's what I thought.
It's boxy. I think it sounds a bit cardboard-like. That's how I'd describe it. But yeah, this is the model before it, which has a headstock.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's no other way to say it apart from it just sounded crap, like really crap, and I was really gutted. I think PMT gave me my deposit back, which is quite nice of them in the end.
That's good.
Because I think I got there and I was like, I really don't like this. I'm not going to buy it. Really don't like it. I'm going to guess either strings were a bit dead, or the battery was already on the way out when it arrived, or it could be a quality control issue. These things happen, annoyingly. They shouldn't do, but they do.
Do you remember what brand of pickups they were?
Yeah, I think they're Bartolini's.
There's your problem.
Or no. I'm going to quickly have a quick look because it's one of the two.
I know a lot of people have a lot of love for Bartolini's, including Matthew's probably listening to this. who's a Bartolini artist actually as well. But they just don't. They've never done it for me. Like they sound good, like depending on the genre. But for like what I expect, what you were going for there as well is like you're going for like quite high output sound. I just don't think.
Yeah, I was going for Mean Lean Gent Machine.
Okay, big clanky boy. Yeah, I just don't think they work well for that. And which is weird because on a multi-scale like that, you'd think that's what it would be built for. You know, I'd rather have a set of VMGs or like Nordstrands or something over Bartolini's.
Yeah. I have checked. It is Bartolini pickups.
Okay.
The BH2 to be specific. I know what you mean. I mean, to be fair, like, so brand new, the £919, which is not bad really, especially for a multi-scale instrument. I think what I would probably do in the future, if I ever saw one come up second hand and it had just had the living shit kicked out of it, you know, like it was, and it wasn't going for a lot of money, I think I would buy one and just immediately put better pickups in it and be like, okay, this is my 5-string now, and I think it would genuinely sound really good. It's just that one, no, just wasn't very good, I'm afraid, unfortunately.
And when you've ordered it in specially, you waited for it, you've gone in the shop especially during those, you know, horrible pandemic times, you're like, oh, what a letdown. So that literally fits the category of expectations versus reality.
Yeah, and I'd waited for a long time. I think I'm gonna say I waited for about 3 weeks, I'd say, in the end.
Okay.
Because they you know, it was back when it was like, oh, you know, it's gonna take. Oh, I remember why. So what they had to do was it had to arrive at the shop. Bless you. It had to arrive at the shop, and then no one was allowed to touch it for 5 days.
It had COVID.
Like because it had COVID. And then I could go in, and then because I didn't want it, they said, well, we're going to have to just put it back in the box now. We can't touch it for like a week. And then someone else will come pick it up. It'll then stay in the warehouse for a week. And then it can be put back in. You know, it's like that kind of thing was slowing the process down. Yeah,
gosh. Oh, just the worst times, wasn't it? Bloody hell. Well, speaking of worst, let's move on to my one.
Hey.
And my second one I thought of, which one that isn't a bad bass. I don't think it's a bad bass by any mile, but I was just kind of really disappointed with it, and I thought like, oh, this is going to be really cool, and I just didn't think it was very cool. And it was the Squier Affinity, both Squiers so far. Squier Affinity Jaguar H. So I had it in the Lake Placid Blue. It's a medium scale bass, single humbucker in the bridge on a Jaguar. I was like, this is all worlds of weird, and I'm here for it, you know. Let's see what this can do. And I was just so underwhelmed by the sound. I just thought it didn't give you that humbucker thing that is nice from a bridge humbucker, and then like the nice scoopy sound, and it was a bit honkier because of the medium scale. It was just weird, and it just didn't really suit me, I don't think. And it's, like I said, not a bad bass. It does what it says, I think, but I think based on reality, I was expecting it to be something it wasn't, and therefore it disappointed me. So yeah, and I think the fact that it was an Affinity series bass and not a classic vibe, you're talking like around £200 for this. Amazing quality. There was some bits on the neck that felt a bit strange, but having spoken to lots of other people that have had them, they didn't have something similar, so it just sounds like a quality control thing on my one. But so meaning that you could get better ones, but I just was very underwhelmed with it and thought, I thought this was going to be something really special, something really cool. And I was hoping it would be, because it was the only one that wasn't like a classic. Here's a jazz bass, here's a PJ bass, you know. It was the weird one, and I was like, oh yes, let's see what this is like. Oh, I was rooting for it, you know, to be good, but I just didn't really enjoy it that much. Have you ever played a medium scale bass? I know you're not a short scale guy.
No, I never played anything apart from a standard I played a 34 and a 35, and I've played a Dingwalls that goes up to a 37, obviously. But no, never played a short scale bass. I'd be keen to give them a whirl. I don't think it would be for me, but I have no reason to say why. I could be completely wrong, and it could be amazing.
That's the thing, and it's totally dependent on what you're going to use it for with short scales, because they're not applicable to a lot of things, but what they, the things that they're good at, they're great at, and they've got a totally different vibe to, I think, like long scales. And then with medium scales, you kind of get this middle ground that, you kind of don't really get the best of both worlds. You're kind of just getting half and half of both. So I think that I'm not really into the medium scale thing. It doesn't give me what I want out of it. Or maybe I just haven't tried enough. I'd be willing to try out one of their like Jaguars maybe. But yeah, the Squier Jaguar H, just a meh, So that was my second one. What is your second one?
Oh no. Anyway, yeah, so mine, now I'm going to be a bit controversial with this one because I'm not going to say the name of who it was, because I did nearly have a professional relationship with this country. It's
Good place to pause.
Yeah, company. So I did nearly have like a proper professional big boy endorsement conversation. Well, I did have the conversation. It just didn't go that way for a few reasons. Like I said, I'm not going to say who they are, but basically they are a very high-end custom guitar and bass company that are not based in the UK, and that's all I'll say on the matter. So, very popular. Lots of very, very big-name people play them, especially now. I'll tell you later, but I'm not telling you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm asking the question.
Oh, yeah, like, you listen here, sunshine. You will tell me. So, yeah, basically, I was recording with two of the instruments, a PJ 5-string and a 4-string J bass. They looked amazing, but they just felt like crap.
Really?
Basically, but you know what? Because I'm a Libra and I have to, I have to be balanced and defend everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and say whoever set them up didn't know what they were doing, or had a preference for action that was so incredibly low that there was no notes. It was just transient, and this was for heavy music as well, I might add, in low tunings. So everything just sounded like
fretboard slap.
It was just like, it sounded like I slapped every note. But yeah, just I expected to fall in love with them immediately because they're just so damn expensive, basically. But yeah, really didn't get along with them. Didn't use them on the recordings in the end. Ended up actually using my Squier to do quite a lot of it, because it was just because, like, just unfortunately it was just set up better. It just there was notes, Johnny. There was actual notes, not just fretboard noise. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say, because in the future there's no reason to say why I might not work with them again in the future. Your products are probably very nice. I just don't like the preference of the person who set them up.
Which is weird, because you think if it's coming from there, if it's a more custom place, that it would be set up like top notch.
Yeah,
I can't think that it would be somebody that doesn't know what they're doing,
Well, it probably was, but the guy who set them up was a guitarist.
It's like, this is how it should all be, especially for this genre. Yeah. I can see that happening. Well, what a shame. What a disappointment. I've got a few ideas, but we'll have that discussion later.
I would be really surprised if you guess it. But when we end the episode, I will spill the tea, so they say.
Wow, the bass guitar tea. Yum. My last one is I've gone from a long scale to a medium scale, and now I'm at a short scale because the most disappointing bass I've played is the Fender Player Mustang bass. I just thought it was bad. Again, might have got a bad one, but when you start getting to this level, they're like 700 new, I think. You shouldn't be expecting this kind of thing to happen.
You're not allowed a bad one at that price range. It's just not allowed.
No. And this one, the toggle is terrible quality, really like flimsy, and like it poked out loads. So like if you were to take it in and out of a bag, it could get caught on things. I'm not surprised it was loose. The tuners felt naff. The fretboard sprouting. Oh my goodness, it was so bad on this one that I had. I've had a £90 Harley Benton that blew that thing out of the water in terms of like feel. And the pickups I just didn't really like. I was really in the game for a Mustang. I've got one again now, but a more traditional one. That one's got a PJ configuration, like standard looking size pickups. And
does it have a pickup selector?
And that was the worst thing about it. Maybe that's the thing.
It was on the back.
It was in the back. It snapped off. That it might as well have not had one because it was such bad quality. Maybe that's what the Harley Benton one is. It's in the back so that it's not too flimsy.
Oh, it's a trim pot. Got it.
Nice. Maybe they've got on-off switches on the top of the pickups.
It's a collaboration with Dark Glass.
Yeah.
Love you.
Don't hate us. They've actually just liked my thing on Instagram. Isn't that funny?
Literally, that's good.
As we're speaking. Sorry. They're going to swiftly take back that like. Whoops. So yeah, the Fender Player Mustang, it was just bad all over for me. I didn't even really love how it sounded either. At the time, I was just like, this is not what I want at all. And I'd heard like such amazing reviews about it, like people raving. They've sold so well and people love them. You see them everywhere. But yeah, I just didn't see what the hype was about. Again, might have got a stinker, but boy did it stink. Lots of things wrong with it. So,
well, that's a shame.
Big shame. This has been a podcast full of shames.
This has been a positively miserable podcast this week.
Yay! Two happy boys doing a pod. Woo!
Woo! Everything is awful.
Newsflash. All the time. It's bad. Yeah, that's my list. I'm sure after this I might think of some more because I've played quite a lot of basses over the past 2 years since starting the channel. And yeah, some have been good, some have been pretty bad. I'm trying to think of ones that are from my past, of ones that I've just been like, nah, not for me, no good. But yeah, kind of struggling to think of any more. So I think I'll leave mine at that. Once again, everybody, thank you so much for listening. We've actually managed to stay on target in terms of like timing and recording. We haven't gone like over 2 hours this time. It's really impressive.
Yeah, we did go hard last time. But we did need to cover a lot.
I feel like in this one, if we kept going for that amount of time, we'd be dead at the end. Our mood would have gone so far downhill. Maybe we would have had a fight.
I mean, we can if you want. I'm sure I can think of something.
No, I'd rather not do that, Chris.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
maybe
that's
we settle it like quote men and end quote and have a physical fight instead. Just get it all out. Done. No need to spit words. Let's just throw a couple of right hooks. Is that what it is? Yep. You can tell
that's what I've heard. Yeah,
I've been in a fight before. Can you tell?
Absolutely. Well, one of us will have to drive to the other. Yes. I mean, it's going to take about 3 hours. So it's up to you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we can set a place in the
Here's
middle.
a question. No, that's true. Yeah, we will meet in Birmingham. How long did it take you to get to London to go to the Fender showroom?
Oh, good question. I thought it was going to be like, how many fights have you been in? The answer is
You
0.
can answer that too if you want. Oh, okay.
Yeah, quick, easy. To London for me from where I am, we went on the coach because I'm not driving to middle of London, and it normally takes about 3 hours, and it took just I think it took like 2.5 this time. We left at like 7 a.m. to get there, and we did like a bit of dawdling around in London whilst we were there as well. But yeah, it didn't feel too bad. I could entertain myself pretty easily. I normally just like take the Switch with me or something, but this time I think I was watching YouTube videos on the whole way and listening to podcasts, so it flew by. How long does it take for you to get to London normally?
If I got a train, under 3 hours.
Really?
Yeah, because the train just goes to Manchester, then I think it stops at Stoke, maybe, or somewhere near Birmingham. I think it hits Birmingham, and then it goes straight to Milton Keynes, then straight into London Euston.
Wow.
Because there's so many people who do Manchester to London for work.
Yeah.
So for Bivnith. But driving, I've never driven to London. I've driven to kind of like High Wycombe, Marlow. I've driven to like that area from Manchester, and that took about 3 and a bit.
Okay.
So it's not.
Yeah. Google, just putting in Manchester to London. Google is saying just under 4 hours via the M6 and the M1.
Yeah, that probably sounds about right, really. I mean, I'm driving. I only recently found out that Oxford is actually nowhere near London.
No, not at all.
I thought it was next door.
I mean, it's kind of halfway between Bristol and London.
It's kind of like, I thought it was literally like next door. Like Houses of Parliament, Oxford.
This is where all the smart people go. They go to Oxford and then to work in London, right? Right next.
That's what I thought. They graduate, they cross the road, and they ruin the country. I mean, sorry, what?
See more on Chris's Twitter.
Oh yeah, no, do not follow me on Twitter. Just don't bother. Trust me. There's a hammer and a sickle.
I wonder if you can tell the people where they can follow you, Chris. Where would you like to send them?
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram, that guy on bass. You can also follow me on TikTok, that guy on bass as well. I'm going to let you in on a spoiler. Everything I post on Instagram, I just post on TikTok as well. Don't really use it that much. Johnny is playing with a metronome now as we speak.
Do you mean this kind of TikTok?
Slow it down. What BPM is that? That is 148.
No, it's faster actually. That was 168 more like. Here's 140. Here's 144.
That is the bridge to Black and by Metallica. That rhythm, absolutely.
Should we go to 200?
Go on. Dun 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 dun.
There you go. That's the
lovely,
new.
thank you.
Every interlude's going to be my physical metronome now.
There we go. So yes, you can follow me. Just stick to Instagram. Just do Instagram. I would like some more subscribers on YouTube. Again, I don't really post videos. I just do the odd short, which is kind of just like the reels for YouTube. But if you fancy it, drop me a subscribe. That'd be nice. You don't really have to. You're not going to get anything for it. But if you want content, Instagram is where you need to be. How about you, Jonathan Dibble?
Well, where your YouTube is, I'm going to start that again. Where to follow me? You can follow me also on Instagram at Johnny Dibble, where you can also submit your questions on my story posts. And then it's just there on YouTube, really. You can follow me on TikTok if you want, but it's kind of the same, where I post sporadically at the moment on there, because I I don't know what it is. I've fallen out of the short form content loop at the minute.
Yeah, me too.
For all those long form lovers out there, it's Johnny Dibble on YouTube. You might be listening to this podcast on there now. If you are, then give this a like and comment down below. You know, what other things you want us to cover in the future on this podcast? What else do you want to see? Subscribe for weekly base related content coming out on there. And yeah, that is pretty much where you can find me on the interwebs. Once again, everybody, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye.